The man who once accused the FBI of protecting the world's foremost predator by hiding Epstein's client list is now running that same FBI and suddenly singing a very different tune. What you're about to see is Massey cornering Kash Patel with his own words, exposing how quickly drain the swamp rhetoric transforms into follow court orders when you become the swamp.
Yields back. Gentleman from Maryland is recognized.
Thank you kindly, Mr. Chairman. Director Patel, before you joined the FBI, you railed against it for covering up Jeffrey Epstein's human trafficking ring. Let me refresh your memory with this clip.
It has Epstein's list. They're sitting on it. That doesn't seem like something you should do. You're protecting the world's foremost predator. That seems like an evil thing to do, regardless of who may be embarrassed in the release of that list. Why is the FBI protecting the greatest pederast, the largest scale? Why is the FBI protecting the greatest pederast, the largest scale pederast in human history?
Simple, because of who's on that list.
So you finished that December 2023 interview with a challenge to the FBI and harsh words for Republicans in Congress for not getting the Epstein files out to the public. You can see this clip.
Boy pants, and let us know who the pedophiles are.
Put on your big boy pants and let us know who the pedophiles are, you said. You emphasized that the president and FBI director each had complete authority to release Epstein's client list. You said Epstein's black book is under the, quote, direct control of the director of the FBI. Look at this clip.
This is way off the topic, but who has Jeffrey Epstein's
black book?
Black book.
FBI.
But who? That is, I mean, there's...
Oh, that's under direct control of the director of the FBI.
All right, so you were sworn in as director more than 200 days ago. Now the black book is under your direct control. So why haven't you released the names of Epstein's co-conspirators in the rape and sex trafficking of young women and girls?
The Rolodex, which is what everybody colloquially refers to as the Black Book, has been released.
Oh, no, you're talking about what the journalist got 5 years ago? No, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about what you were talking about there,
That's
the black
exactly
book
what I
under
was
the direct
talking.
control of the FBI director.
We have released more material than anyone else before. The Biden administration, Obama administration had the exact opportunities to release this material, and they never did. And if you are selling the men and women of the FBI,
Why
we're
have
not
you
going after
changed your
child
position?
predators. Hang on, you said we're not going after child predators. 1,500 child predators arrested this year, 35% increase,
I'll reclaim my time.
4,700 child victims
Mr. Chairman, I'm going to
found.
reclaim my time if you could instruct the witness. Why have you changed your position? There you were saying it's under the direct control of the FBI director and all of it should be released. Why have you changed your position?
Everything that has been lawfully permitted to be released has been released. And as I told you,
Really?
the investigation was limited. And let me make something crystal clear. I never said Jeffrey Epstein didn't traffic other people, other women, and they're not other victims. This is the investigation we were given from 2006, 7, and 8, and the search warrants from 2006, 7, and 8. That's what we're working with.
Well, wait, have you released all of the stuff that the FBI has seized from Epstein's house? The computers, the emails, the file cabinets, the documents? What about the financial records? Have you released all of that?
Everything the court has allowed us to release.
Which court are you talking about?
3 separate federal courts have come in and said...
We're talking about the evidence you've got. It's got nothing to do with what those courts have.
Do you have any idea how the law works?
Wait.
Do you want me to break the law in a federal judge's order?
No, I want you to follow your own word, Director Patel. You said up there it was under the direct control of the FBI director. He had the black book.
Everything I have direct control over, we have gone to court. You haven't.
Complete your sentence. Everything you have direct control over, you said.
Have gone to court, and everything we have direct control
Patel,
over.
Complete your sentence. You said everything.
Release. We're releasing.
He'd like to complete his answer.
You began the sentence, everything you have direct control over, and then you stopped that sentence. You have released everything that you have direct control over?
And I have direct control over and can lawfully release. If you're not familiar with the court orders, that's not my fault.
Oh, I'm
Go
perfectly,
look at them.
I'm perfectly familiar
court.
with them. But how did we prosecute Ghislaine Maxwell?
She was prosecuted with the investigatory material that was collected from 2001 and 2005 because of the non-prosecution agreements and the court orders on the investigations and search warrants. We were not able to develop new information. And oh, by the way, Jeffrey Epstein was out for 12 years, and the Obama and Biden administration did nothing to look at his work, his pedophile network. If you want to blame me, that's fine. But now you're blaming the men and women who conducted this great search.
Stop that. I'm not blaming anybody other than you. You're not keeping your word. You said that you would release all of the materials
Has
under your
anyone
direct
released
control.
more information on Epstein than I have? Has
Well,
anyone?
much
did
more-
Comey, did Ray?
Much
Did
more.
they?
Excuse me. Much more has come out in the days since the American people in Congress have been demanding it, but it's coming out in dribs and drabs. Why don't you just release the entire file as you promised to do?
I literally just told you, there are multiple federal court orders. I'm not going to break the law to satisfy your curiosity. You didn't join us when we filed court to release the court orders. You could have. You have lawyers. You could have shown up. You didn't do that.
That's a tiny fraction of the material we're
That
talking
is
about.
not.
It is
How
a
do you-
tiny fraction.
How do you know that? Have you seen
No.
everything?
Time
It's
of the
all
gentleman.
misdirection.
How do you know
Time
that?
of the gentleman has expired. The gentleman from California.
What Representative Massey did in that hearing wasn't just political theater. It was a masterclass in how to use someone's own words as evidence against them, and it revealed something far more dangerous than hypocrisy. It showed how power transforms crusaders into gatekeepers overnight. The setup was devastating in its simplicity. Massey didn't need complex legal arguments or insider knowledge. He just needed Patel's own interviews from December 2023, where the then outsider was demanding transparency with the kind of righteous anger that builds political careers. Put on your big boy pants and let us know who the pedophiles are, Patel had said, pointing directly at the FBI director's desk as the place where accountability goes to die. That phrase matters because it wasn't policy analysis or legal commentary. It was moral grandstanding designed to position Patel as the truth teller fighting a corrupt system. He explicitly claimed the FBI director had complete authority to release Epstein's materials and accused the Bureau of protecting predators because of who's on that list. Those weren't hedged statements about legal complexities. They were absolute claims about institutional corruption. Fast forward to Massey's questioning and watch the transformation. Suddenly, Patel discovers court orders. Suddenly, he's bound by legal constraints he never mentioned during his media appearances. Suddenly, the direct control he attributed to the FBI director becomes conditional on judicial approval. This is an evolution of thought. It's institutional capture happening in real time. The legal mechanics Patel invokes are real but selective. Yes, federal courts issue protective orders about evidence in criminal cases. Yes, there are non-prosecution agreements that can limit what material gets released. But none of that was part of Patel's public crusade when he was building his reputation as a transparency warrior. He presented the issue as simple corruption, not legal complexity. This matters because it exposes how accountability rhetoric functions in American politics. When you're outside the system, every institutional constraint is evidence of corruption. When you're inside, those same constraints become the mature, responsible position. Patel went from accusing his predecessors of protecting pedophiles to invoking the exact same legal barriers he once dismissed. The pattern extends beyond Epstein files. Throughout the hearing, Patel repeatedly deflected with process arguments and blamed previous administrations for problems he once claimed were easily solvable. His defense that the Obama and Biden administrations did nothing for 12 years is particularly revealing because it's exactly the kind of finger-pointing he would have scorned when applied to his own tenure. What makes this especially corrosive is the effect on public trust. Citizens who believed Patel's original claims about FBI corruption now face two equally troubling possibilities. Either he was lying then to build his political brand, or he's lying now to protect institutional interests. Either way, his credibility as a truth-teller is demolished, and with it, any faith that outsiders can meaningfully change the system from within. The consequences ripple outward. When reformers become defenders of the status quo, it reinforces public cynicism about whether change is possible at all. It feeds the narrative that institutions inevitably corrupt their leaders, making citizens more likely to embrace extreme measures or withdraw from civic engagement entirely. Massey's questioning also highlighted a structural problem with how we evaluate government nominees. Patel's confirmation hearings focused heavily on his partisan rhetoric and loyalty to Trump, but missed this more fundamental issue: his willingness to make absolute claims about complex issues when it served his political interests. That pattern of oversimplification doesn't disappear when someone takes office, it just gets redirected toward different targets. The Epstein case specifically matters because it involves the most vulnerable victims. When Patel promised transparency about child trafficking networks, he was trading on legitimate public outrage about institutional failures. Citizens who have lost faith in law enforcement's commitment to protecting children deserve better than political opportunism dressed up as moral crusading. This hearing should serve as a warning about the difference between reformers and performers. Real institutional change requires people who understand complexity and are willing to work within legal constraints while pushing for systematic improvements. Political performers promise simple solutions to complex problems, then discover complexity only when it becomes convenient. The public deserves leaders who are honest about institutional constraints from the beginning, not crusaders who discover legal nuance only after they gain power. Massey's questions exposed the difference, and the answers reveal why skepticism about political transformation claims is often justified. What citizens should demand now is consistency. If Patel wants to maintain any credibility, he needs to explain exactly which court orders prevent transparency and what steps the FBI is taking to challenge those restrictions. If he can't or won't do that, then his earlier crusade stands exposed as exactly what Massey suggested: performance art designed to build a career, not protect victims.